Hello family, and welcome back to our wild Ohio. Today, we're going to take a look at 8 of the best morel hunting hotspots in Ohio, and we'll also share a few tips to help you find these delicious treats. And please let us know in the comments what are some of your favorite places, and if you've had any luck at any of the places. I'll share in this video, or if you have a question or just want to say hello, we'd love to hear from you. When I started on this journey 7 years ago, I knew if I could draw on my experience of learning about mushrooms and our wild places, I could share all my knowledge with all of you. So if you enjoy our channel, please let us know, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. In Ohio, you can legally hunt for mushrooms in state parks, state forests, and state wildlife areas. However, it's important to check for specific rules at each park. Remember, it's always best to ask permission before you start hunting. Hidden in the forests of Ohio, you'll find one of the tastiest treats in the Buckeye State, the morel mushroom. These distinctive fungi are known for their honeycomb appearance and delicious taste. Morels are prized by chefs and home cooks alike, and because they're not easy to grow, most morels are harvested from the wild. The morel, also known as Morcella esculenta and Morcella conica, is more related to a truffle than to other mushrooms. Morels are the fruit of a fungus that sprouts in the damp soil of the forest. 3 types of morels can be found here in Ohio over a 4 to 6 week period, typically between March and May. The first morels to appear are the black morels. These morels prefer areas with ash trees and are most likely to be found singularly or in small patches. Morels generally emerge in the spring when soil temperatures reach around 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Look for morels in areas with loose, well-drained soil, near trees like ash, elm, apple, and oak, and on south-facing slopes that warm up faster. And here are 8 of my favorite places to hunt for morel mushrooms in Ohio. Number 8, Great Seal State Park. Located just north of Chillicothe, Ohio, Great Seal State Park is one of the most beautiful parks. The park is dedicated to the wilderness spirit of Ohio and is home to a fascinating history. The park's name comes from the Great Seal of the state of Ohio. The park lies on the Appalachian Escarpment, a line of hills stretching across Ohio's midsection. This line marks the edge of the Appalachian Plateau in the state, with glaciated plains to the north and west, and rugged hills to the south and east. These hills are home to a diverse array of wildlife and plants, including chestnut oaks and sugar maples. In the spring, the park is filled with beautiful wildflowers, and in the autumn, the hills are a feast for wildlife with papaws and persimmons. The history of the park is closely tied to the Shawnee Nation in Ohio's early statehood. These hills were the site of the first state capitol, and the design of the Great Seal of the state of Ohio was inspired by a sunrise over these very hills. Number 7, Burr Oak State Park. Located in southeast Ohio, quiet and remote Burr Oak State Park has a rustic country charm in its scenery of wooded hills and valley farms. As one of Ohio's resort parks, Burr Oak offers a wide array of overnight accommodations with its lodge, cottages, and campground. Burr Oak blends modern conveniences with the wilderness spirit of Ohio. Wildflowers are equally as impressive in the spring when violets, Dutchman's breeches, trillium, rare orchids, bloodroot, and hepatita are in bloom. Lake was created by the construction of the Tom Jenkins Dam across the east branch of Sunday Creek. 2 years later, Burr Oak was dedicated as a state park. Number 6, Lake Alma State Park. In the midst of some of Ohio's most rugged, scenic territory lies Lake Alma State Park. A quiet lake and a gentle creek meandering through a wooded valley provide a restful setting for park visitors. Nature of the area. Lake Alma lies nestled in the heart of the unglaciated hill country of Ohio. These hills are part of the Appalachian Highlands. Most of the rock layers are acidic sandstones, shales, and coals, with an occasional limestone member. Much time has passed since the region was first uplifted from the ancient sea that once covered Ohio, allowing for the development of many different habitats. Today, this region supports more than 70% of Ohio's remaining woodlands on only 1/3 of the state's land. Lake Alma contains a fine example of the second-growth forest now covering this part of the state. In this area, the forest is mainly of a mixed oak composition. With the advent of forest succession on surrounding farmlands, upswings in the population of deer, grouse, gray squirrel, and other woodland species were encouraged. In the late 1950s, wild turkeys were reintroduced into this part of the state, giving Vinton County the highest population of this species. Other valuable resources found at Lake Alma include a vast array of woodland wildflowers, such as large-flowered trillium, wild geranium, and hepatica. The forest floor is blanketed with a variety of ferns, mosses, and lichens. The wood thrush, pileated woodpecker, great horned owl, and barred owl make this park their home. Number 5, Brush Creek State Forest. Located in the unglaciated hill country of south-central Ohio, Brush Creek State Forest was established in 1928 with the acquisition of 285 acres of land. This and other early land acquisitions were originally part of Shawnee State Forest. As acreage and distances grew, the need to form a separate state forest unit became apparent in order to properly manage these scattered land holdings. In the early 1950s, a new state forest was formed and drew its name from a major stream in the area known as Kyoto Brush Creek. A forest headquarters and service center was established along State Route 73 about 1 mile west of the village of Varden in western Scioto County, and presently remains at that site. Today, Brush Creek State Forest comprises well over 12,000 acres of productive hardwood forest land. The vast majority of these acres is made up of steep hillsides, deep hollows, and narrow ridge tops. Combined with the climate in the region, this land is ideally suited to the growth of deciduous hardwood forests. Number 4, Shawnee State Forest. Once inhabited by the Shawnee Indians, Shawnee State Forest came into existence in 1922 with the purchase of land which had been cut over for timber and ravaged by fire. During that same year, land acquisition was begun for the Theodore Roosevelt Game Preserve. In the 1930s, 6 civilian conservation corps camps were located in the forest. During this period, many of the roads were constructed in the then nearly inaccessible area. Many other accomplishments resulted, including 5 small lakes that were built to serve as water supplies for the camps. Following the creation of the Department of Natural Resources in 1949, the recreational facilities at Roosevelt Lake were transferred to the Division of Parks. The Roosevelt Game Preserve, by a 1951 agreement between the Division of Forestry and Wildlife, became a part of the forest. Shawnee State Forest, also called the Little Smokies of Ohio, has developed into the largest of the 20 state forests, with over 60,000 acres. While the forest is a fantastic recreation feature in southern Ohio, you should not be surprised to see other activities occurring. The forest is a working forest. It is managed to provide a variety of multiple uses on a sustained yield basis. Timber harvesting, tree planting, wildlife habitat, forestry research, watershed and soil protection, and production of tree seeds are all in a day's work for forest employees and many local residents. During the spring and fall forest fire danger periods, state forest crews detect and suppress wildfires that occur on state and private lands within the surrounding protection area. Nearly 8,000 acres of the forest have been designated as wilderness. This minimizes human influence and allows the land to return to a natural condition. Timber management activities and public motorized travel have been eliminated in the area. In the mid-1800s and early 1900s, building stone was quarried from Vestine and Cabbage Patch Hollows. The stone was moved by railroad to the Ohio River and loaded on barges. Much of the stone was used in the construction of buildings in Cincinnati. Number 3, Harrison State Forest. The 1,344-acre Harrison State Forest was purchased in 1961. A substantial portion of the land has been strip-mined for coal. However, the production of acid mine water is minimal because of the neutralizing effect of limestone deposits. The majority of unstripped lands are located on ridges or in valleys and are in forest cover. Subsequent reforestation and installation of recreation facilities, funded through the Appalachian Regional Development Act of 1965 and the Ohio Capital Improvements Program, have restored the area to a condition suitable for public use. 2 areas were reforested in 1992 and 1993. Over 100,000 trees were planted on 186 acres. Harrison State Forest is located in Harrison County, approximately 3 miles north of Cadiz, east of State Route 9. The primary area lies north of County Road 13, while 2 smaller tracts are located south of County Road 13. 2 campgrounds equipped with picnic tables, fire rings, and vault latrines are available. Campers must provide their own water. 7 family campsites are located at Ronsheim Campground, while 20 sites accommodating family and horse campers are available at the Trail Riders Campground. Campers must select a site. A forest officer will issue permits and familiarize visitors with camping regulations. 20 miles of combined bridle and hiking trails are located throughout the state forest. Parking areas are strategically located at trail intersections. A 100-yard shooting range is provided for the sportsman or shooting enthusiast to practice marksmanship or sight in firearms for accuracy. The area is available on a first-come, first-served basis. Persons under 16 years of age must be accompanied by a person of legal age while discharging firearms. Exercise extreme caution and observe all rules of gun safety when using this area. Number 2, Maumee State Forest. The Maumee State Forest Progeny Test site is an area set aside for the purpose of evaluating genetic selections for superior characteristics. The superior trees will then be grafted into orchards where their seed will be collected and grown in the state tree nurseries. These improved seedlings will then be sold to Ohioans for reforestation purposes. The Maumee State Forest Windbreak Arboretum was established in 1990. This area is set aside for the purpose of evaluating tree and shrub species for their suitability for use in windbreaks. A variety of management and cultural techniques relative to windbreaks is also demonstrated at this site. The Oak Openings Metro Park, lying northeast of Maumee State Forest, has picnic areas and other day-use facilities. Number 1, Wayne National Forest. One of my all-time favorite places to hunt morels, located in southern Ohio. You can get there in no more than a day's drive from such metropolitan areas as Columbus, Cincinnati, Louisville, and Pittsburgh. Camping and picnicking season extends from May through September, except at Vesuvius Recreation Area where camping is permitted year-round. Southwest Ohio relishes its warm days and cool nights during May and June, with visitors claiming the swimming is best during July and August. The land on which the forest exists and grows was consigned to the United States by the Northwestern Confederacy in 1795 as part of the Treaty of Greenville. It is in the state of Ohio, which was named for an indigenous word translating to Good River. During the late 18th and 19th century, the forested land was cleared for agricultural and lumbering use. But years of poor timbering and agricultural practices led to severe erosion and poor soil composition. The Wayne National Forest was started as part of a reforestation program. It was established as a national forest for the public in December 1992. In 2022, approximately 1,300 acres, 530 hectares of the forest were burned by fires that were deliberately set by a former fire department administrator and police officer. In 2025, the culprit was sentenced to 18 months in prison and required to pay $368,000 in restitution. Now went out looking for morel check, dead or fallen trees. Morels often grow near dead or fallen trees, especially elm, ash, sycamore, and cottonwood. Edges of forests. They can also be found on the edges of forested areas. Ravines and deciduous woodlands. Look for them in ravines and deciduous woodlands that aren't close to streams. Along streams and banks. Morels are often found near streams, rivers, and banks prone to flooding. Areas with decaying vegetation. They like loose soil that's rich with humus, high humidity, and decaying vegetation like rotting fallen trees and stumps. Safety first. Be aware of potential dangers, especially false morels, and always cut your quarry in half after collecting to make sure only true morels are consumed. Carry a mesh bag. Use a mesh bag to carry your morels, allowing spores to fall to the forest floor and help propagate future growth. Don't over-collect. Never fully clear a morel cache of mushrooms to help ensure that spot continues producing throughout the season and into future ones. Rules to follow. Many state parks permit the hunting of mushrooms, but special rules do apply, so contact the park office at each park you plan to visit. If you do plan to go morel hunting on state park land, you'll need to remain on the trail, as off-trail collecting is prohibited. Respect private property. Avoid foraging on private land without permission. Consider joining the Ohio Mushroom Society to learn more about mushrooms and participate in the joy of our wild Ohio. And until we meet again, stay wild, my friends.
Thank you for watching Our Wild Ohio. It's support from viewers like you who make it all possible. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Join our family and become a member of Our Wild Ohio by visiting the link in the description below. And until we meet again, stay wild, my friends.